Hey everyone, it's Alison Heikkila. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm having so much fun with embossing folders lately that I decided to make another video. So I have the Art Deco arches from Erin Creative, and if you saw any of my recent haul videos, you might have seen the one where I got this one. This was actually a freebie, which was amazing because I had my eye on it and I really wanted it, and it came with my order, so that was a wonderful surprise. I have some smooth Bristol cardstock from Strathmore, and I spritzed it with some water, and look at how gorgeous that is already. I've embossed this previously with holographic paper, and it looks incredible. So I wanted to use my Lindy's Magicals again, and I grabbed the Prairie Wildflowers set, and I've got 3 of the colors from that set, and I'm going to just open them up on the side. There's Bachelor Button, Peony, Scarlet Red, and Texas Rose Yellow. You might have seen me use these 3 colors recently, but we're using them a little different today. So I've got my fan brush. This is a dry brush, and the paper was only wet on the back because I didn't want the powders to start flowing as soon as I drop them onto the cardstock here. So I'm going one by one, just adding a little bit of the powder here and there, just scattering it all around the entire thing. And it doesn't look like there's much on here, but trust me, there's plenty. I do wind up adding a little bit more once we start moving it around with the water, but at first you don't want to do too much because this stuff goes a long way and you don't want to waste it. You can see that it hardly looks like there's anything there, but once we spritz it with water, it's going to be like, wow. So I move the powders away because I don't want to accidentally get them wet while they're in the jar. Take a look at what happens. I mean, come on, it's gorgeous. Look at that blue. I can't. I'm so crazy about these colors. And because this embossing folder has so many different textures and levels on it, it is a 3D embossing folder, it just picks up those colors in such cool ways. So now I have a different brush. This is just a filbert. You can use whatever type of brush you want. I don't recommend using the same fan brush that you're using to dip into the powders because then your brush will be wet. And you really don't want to get the powders wet while they're in the jar. I just think that then you have to worry about them drying out and all of that. So grab a different brush and you can start moving the powders around. If you see any like clumps, if you don't like that, you can move them around, kind of thin them out a little bit. But I'm just trying to make sure that I have pretty even color across the whole thing. Not necessarily the same quantity of each color, but just making sure that I don't really have any white areas. I want to make sure that yellow is really nice and defined, especially because since the last time I used it, it accidentally got mixed in with my red, and I want to make sure it's pretty pure this time. So you'll see on the side there, I have that adorable and beautiful terry cotton reusable cloth. My friend Glow gave this to me, a mutual friend of ours. Her business name is Vistoria. I'll have a link to her shop below. She's got a shop on Facebook only at the moment. She sells these terry cotton reusable cloths that you use instead of having a paper towel. And my friend Glow recommended using it for when I work with watercolors. And I tell you what, it's fantastic. And that's, a few less paper towels that I'm going to wind up using. And it's just so pretty to look at, and it's super soft. So if you're interested in doing some good for the environment and helping a small mama business, take a look at Vistoria's stuff. She's got so many wonderful things. It's more than just stuff like this. You'll love it. Anyway, back to the card. So now at this point, I'm pretty happy with how the colors have turned out, and I let the panel dry. Look at the shimmer. Isn't it beautiful? Each color has a different kind of shimmer on it, and it's just glorious. And it really doesn't take long to make this. It's super fast. So if you need a really impactful card in a pinch, this is a great way to go. I've grabbed my binder. Thank you, Amy's Wares, for the inspiration. And I'm trying to pick out what sentiment I'm going to use. This saves so much time having this binder. If you have not implemented this yet, you've got to, because my goodness. I even like to store, you can see back there the hummingbird, some of my colored things that I have, just random, like I was in the mood to color, so I colored a bird or I colored a flower. I pop them into the binder as well. So now I chose the Hello Friend, which is from the Honeybee Stamps Big Time Kindness stamp and die set. And that was stamped with VersaFine Clair ink in Warm Breeze. And I thought that turquoise color was just perfect with that gorgeous background that we have. So I thought about leaving the card base white, but I can't do it, guys. I can't do it. You'll see what I do in a moment. But first, I grabbed some 5mm foam tape. This is from Heffy Doodle. I really like their foam tape. It's a really good quality. The backing comes off easily, and you can see how nicely it cuts. Some foam tape is very hard to cut because it's so sticky. And this adheres well to whatever you're sticking it to, but it really doesn't stick to my scissors. I've got the EK Success Honeybee scissors, and they have a Teflon coating on them. They're literally older than my son, and he's 17. So you can see how well they hold up. Fiskars has Teflon coated scissors as well, but I added lots of the foam tape all over the back there for my sentiment to pop up. I could have also just taken cardstock and die cut the sentiment over and over and over again and just stack that, but I decided to go with foam tape this time. I have Memories Mist in Blue Martini. If it's available, I will link it below. There are some that are definitely still available from some random shops, but if you've got a nice turquoise to go with the blue that's in here, or you could use red, you could use yellow, whatever color you want. But this just happened to be the color that was closest to what's already in the card. And I really wanted it to coordinate with that Warm Breeze VersaFine Clair that I used for the sentiment. So that's why I chose this color. But you could have used yellow or red also, and that would have looked great. So doing lots of splatter all over the place. And here I used a paper towel because I don't want to get this on my Vistoria terry cotton reusable cloth. I don't know if it'll wash out, so I opted to go with a paper towel. But when my cloth gets kind of full of paint and whatnot, like just watercolors, I don't want to use anything that's going to stain it. I'll just pop it into the wash and clean it off, and it'll be good to go. So I have tear it tape here. This, again, is a 3D embossing folder, and sometimes I have a hard time with wet adhesives and 3D embossing folder panels. I just find that sometimes they just don't stick well. So I went with the tear it tape from Imagine. This stuff holds really well. I love it. And you can see that the paper comes off nice and easily too. So now we're going to carefully stick this down. We really don't have the ability to wiggle it around once it's down because it is a dry adhesive. But I managed to line it up pretty good right away. Look at that. And we could have zhuzhed this up further. Like I could have gone over the top with, another color of ink to make that texture stand out. But I really wanted to just keep it simple today. But man, look at that shimmer. You can really see it in this photo here. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Go and grab some Lindy's Magicals and some embossing folders and have a good time. I'll be back again very soon. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Be well, stay safe. Peace out.